Yeah, absolutely. I love the way you phrase that. Lead in love, serve with your strength.
Yeah.
This is what we need more men to do.
Yeah.
Of course, in their marriage, of course, in their family, but even in the workplace, in all kinds of organisational spaces. It's interesting. I have this conversation a lot in client meetings and when I'm teaching and training and various contexts where I talk about giving people the hint or the clue to figure out what kind of space are they in. And I go on to talk to them about the difference between fathers and kings. And then I parlay that down into the fact that a father produces a different kind of community member to a king. And what I mean is kings recruit, I should say, soldiers. Fathers raise sons. So if you look at those two lines of thought, you can have a king, you can have a father, and these are just guideline prototypes. These are not hard and fast rules, but a father in his heart wants to raise a son, biological or not. He wants to raise a son in order to hand over the family business. In other words, the eye, the mind, the heart of the father is to make the son as big and as empowered as he possibly can. The mind and the eye and the heart of the king is he wants to recruit soldiers purely for the expansion of his own kingdom. And the soldier becomes a commodity, an asset that's expendable, and we see all over the world. It doesn't matter whether you're talking business, sport, education, not-for-profit, politics, art, entertainment, media, pick any sphere or pillar of society, we see a flood of king-oriented leadership styles that are only interested in recruiting soldiers for kingdom expansion. And by the way, I'm not anti-kingdom expansion, but I am pro-healthy expansion. And I think we need to ring a bell for more of this style of leadership in the home, in the community. Men who have got enough personal security, enough courage, enough power in their heart to say, my task in life is to find sons, which is non-gender oriented. I'm talking to daughters as well. Find others who I can impart to, invest in, empower. And the father task becomes, I get to release others into their destiny. Can you imagine what would happen if we saw that happening in churches, sports clubs, businesses, schools? The difference would be huge, right?
It'd be a renaissance.
It'd be a renaissance.
It would. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Right.
And I couldn't agree more, Andrew. I couldn't agree more. And I haven't heard that analogy before, but it's so true. It's so true. It's like we have a dearth of the fathering. We've got these men building kingdoms, but it's not in the best interest of the next generation.
No.
And it's self-centered and it's short-sighted. It's not thinking about the future at all.
Absolutely.
So we need to get away from the king, that king mentality, and more to the father mentality. And like you said, it's for sons and daughters.
That's right.
One of the things with Dads for Kids, we always used to think that fathers were important for their sons and mothers were important for daughters. But through the work of Dads for Kids, we've done a lot of research, and it's actually fathers are very important, almost more important for their daughters' sense of self-worth and identity than almost their sons. So there's a great song, John Mayer did a great song years ago, Daughters. And I think he got attacked at the time by the usual suspects. But it's such a profound song, simple song, but profound. So, the message of that song is fathers, love your daughters, love your sons, but especially love your daughters well, because they will love how you love them.
That's right.
But the same goes for business, like all those spheres you mentioned. The same goes. We need less men building kingdoms for themselves and more men, well, let's say building kingdoms for their children.
Totally.
Being fathers.
Yeah, spot on. And I love that you've included a John Mayer reference there, just a personal preference. But there is a great story in that song because he is writing about an example of a girl that he's taking an interest in, and he discovers during the course of the relationship where we get this lyric where he says, "Now I'm left cleaning up the mess he made." And so he's talking about the girl's dad.
Yeah.
And it's not a song that's trying to lay blame on a specific person. It's a prototype. It's a template of what happens when young boys, young girls grow up, and there's a void of the right voices, the right affection, the right affirmation,